Panama City, Panama. My first time in Panama. So, when you come into Panama City, normally the airport that you arrive at is Tucumán International Airport. That is the numero uno spot for plane arrivals and departures from Panama City, Panama, and really from Panama at large. So, when I got to Panama, one of the first things, base, uh, the first times that I was there, one of the first things I wanted to do is I wanted to check out the premier Panama Canal. For all those that don't know about the Panama Canal was a landmass that was developed in conjunction with other nations, with the U.S. United States of America spearheading the project. The project was designed to allow traffic via boats, housing commerce, materials, commercial products on boats, allowing it to be able to connect the Panama country from the Pacific side to the Atlantic side, which made it easier to transport goods and services from the Pacific side to the Atlantic side and vice versa. This is one of the most premier structures that was ever developed in human history. It's a engineering marvel. So if you want to find out more about the Panama Canal, you know, Google the Panama Canal, the history of the Panama Canal. You can find out more. I definitely recommend it. So I wanted to check out the Panama Canal as a part of American history. Plus, also I wanted to see the structure for myself. I went to I saw when I got to Tucumán International Airport. I had my driver take me to my lodging, and then I booked a trip to the Panama Canal. I believe it was the Myra Flores portion of the canal for the next day. Once I got settled in, I got a bite to eat at a place. It is in this landmass. It's like I forgot what it's called. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. It's right near the Panama Canal sign. Although several of them in the country. I'm trying to think, what was it called? The Amador Causeway. So I went down to the Amador Causeway. It's a causeway that is lined up with full of restaurants and lounges and so forth, place where you can smoke hookah if you're into that kind of thing. A little bit of nightlife over there. And I got a bite to eat. So I tried out some of the traditional Panamanian cuisines, at least the ones that I could try as a vegan. They had a dish that I never had previously. It was a coconut rice. So rice had coconut flavor, had a salad, plantains, things of that nature, just things that I could eat. I later went to a couple vegan restaurants, and those names slipped top of my head, so I had to put that in the comment section. But from there, I got some rest, and then the next day I went to the Panama Canal. Man, I gotta tell you, this was a sight to be seen. Really well developed, very modern looking. Just the entrance in. You walk up a flight of stairs, and then you buy your ticket. You have several different types of tickets you can buy. You can just buy the ticket to see the boats cross through the Panama Canal. You also can buy a ticket to see the Panama Canal and see the boats pass through, but also see a movie detailing the history of the Panama Canal. And in the building leading up to the fourth floor, if I'm not mistaken, where you can go up and see the Panama, the main viewpoint for the Panama Canal and boats moving to and from through the country. You have places where you can buy souvenirs. You have an area on the first floor where it showcases via visuals and writing about the people that came to build the Panama Canal, which definitely should be noted. A lot of people of Jamaican ancestry came to Panama City specifically for work and to build the Panama Canal. via a number of different routes that they came to the country. So they were a heavy part. Jamaicans were a heavy part of building canal, the Panama Canal, and they eventually became Panamanians. You also had people from other different countries. One thing I noticed was that the black people, when you go through here, you'll see the people of color, the Aborigine people, and the blacks. They're clearly the people doing most of the work. You look at their clothes. They've been in the trenches working. It's dirtier, and then you had the Caucasian people, the white people, and their clothes are all clean. It's like they didn't do any work at all. But it was a sight to be seen. Is a huge part of American history. I definitely recommend checking it out. I have a video of the Panama Canal and the boats coming through through the country on my blog, Melanated Magic, aka Motivational Movements. You can find that on YouTube, which of course is how you'll be seeing this video, because this will be posted on YouTube. So I checked out the Panama Canal. It was definitely a sight to be seen. Very interesting sight. If you can't make it to the Panama Canal, you can watch the Panama Canal and a boat that is coming through, so you can see how that pathway goes through the Panama Canal on my blog, Motivational Movement, aka Melanated Magic, on YouTube. So next up, after experiencing those two points of interest in the country, the Amador Causeway and the Panama Canal, I talked to a couple of locals, and they told me I wanted to know where the nightlife was. I want to see how the people party. You know, I'm in a new country. I'm in Central America. Some people they say that this is the what do they call it, the ALUD, or I think it's called the ALUD, or the Dubai. No, they say it's the Dubai of the Central America. Panama City, Panama is. So if that's the case, I gotta see how the Panamanians party then, right? So I talked to a couple of locals, a couple people I met along the way, and they told me to check out Casco Viejo. So Casco Viejo, it's a district of Panama City. It's one of the older parts of the city, older neighborhoods in the city. So a lot of the buildings you'll see, they harken back to the 1500s with that colonial style architecture. You can see some of the old churches dating back hundreds of years. So a sight to be seen in Spanish culture and Spanish architecture. You get to see that, the remnants of that's there. And of course, there's been some renovations that have been going on. But it also is where the major nightlife for Panama City is. So you have a lot of different clubs and bars. So if you are looking for the premier place to party at Panama City, Panama, it is Casco Viejo. And I'll have that name in the comment section so you can Google that, read up about that and Google that. But I will tell you, Casco Viejo is a great time. You have lounges, you have bars, you have places to eat, where you can try traditional Panamanian dishes. You also have a Spanish school there, so if you want to brush up on your Espanol, you can do so at the Spanish school that's there. And I have more information on Panama City's Casco Viejo also on my blog, melanatedmagic.com. Please check it out. So I checked out Casco Viejo. I partied the night away. I was out till about 2-3 a.m. and I was done after that. I did a tour, a bar crawl with a woman named Julie and a friend of mine's. We went to the bar crawl. We checked it out. Great time that Julie was hosting. That was her bar crawl. We checked out several different clubs. It was crazy. So if you're into drinking, her bar crawl is really interesting. One time I put on these shoulder pads and I had a helmet on. So I had some shoulder pads and a helmet on, and it was a game where you would drink, then you would spin around, might get hit on side of your head, then drink another one. Woo, man! I was tipsy, man. I was like, whew, I was like, wow, man, this is a crazy feeling, but it was a good time. Went to a couple other, went to a number of different bars. That was one bar we did that. I did that at. Another fellow that was there, he did it as well. Then we checked out a couple other different bars and had some drinks. We played some bar games. And then later afterwards, me and a friend, we checked out a couple other spots and then headed home. But man, it was a good time. I definitely recommend it. So like the streets are cobblestone. So it's not the easiest place to park at. So Panama has Uber. I highly recommend you use Uber. Uber is so convenient. It's so cheap. It's so cheap there. I mean, it's not like being in a lot of American major cities like Miami or New York. It might cost you a little bit more. Miami's not that bad, but I mean, like with Uber, i.e. with Uber, you could get from Tocumen International Airport down to downtown Panama, which is about almost a 30-minute ride, and I don't even think you spend over $15. So I let that soak in. It's not bad. Not bad at all. Round trip $30. It's not bad. For a trip duration time of 30 minutes to and from a location. To and from a location. That ain't bad. Can't beat that. But I had a good time there. And later on my trip in Panama, I checked out a place called San Blas. So if you haven't heard of San Blas is like this tropical oasis. It's sky blue water. You have like palm trees around. It is freaking amazing. It's like a sight like no other. I mean, it's like something out of like one of those magazines that like you see when you see like places of tropical places to go at, and it's just like it's super picturesque. It's just amazing. It's amazing. I actually have a video of it, my time out there on my YouTube channel, Motivational Movements. You can check it out, several videos, so you can see exactly what I'm describing with my words here. It's a sight like no other. I gotta say that my time in Panama was great. It was. I also got to see the city about an hour north of Panama City, a place called Cologne City. Cologne City is where a lot of people of African descent or black descent live at, mostly the Jamaicans. They helped build the canal. Their ancestors were living there. You can see the people with the majority black city in Cologne City there. It's a little run down. So kind of like a lot of black towns in all around the world, it was a little bit run down. So clearly there's been some mismanagement going on. But is an integral part of Panamanian history. One of the key points to go there, if you ever wanted to check out Cologne City while you are in the country of Panama, would be a place called the Free Zone. The Free Zone, you get a lot of things at a super cheap price in comparison to other places. So if you're in like for the ladies, if you're into shopping, I think like Monday through Friday or Monday and Friday, I think they're open. Special times, you can go check it out and get a lot of bulk items at a reduced price, clothes, other items, things of that nature. They also have the better beaches in the country if you don't want to have to go far away to, let's say, Bocas del Toro. And speaking of Bocas del Toro, I took a plane ride via the Panama's own Panama Airlines to from Panama City to Bocas del Toro. Now, Bocas del Toro is a set of islands. The island that you arrive on if you get there via plane ride, or if you take the 9-hour bus ride from Panama City to the outskirt, the bitty part of the mainland, to where you got to take a 30-minute boat ride afterwards to to Bocas del Toro. The place that you arrive at is called Bocas Town. So I took the plane there, the hour, because I wanted to get there quick. It was only an hour. Took the plane ride from Panama City there. Met a dude. He was from France. He was one of the guys that I hung out with there on my stay. So a lot of people, they go to these islands, set of islands under the name Bocas del Toro, because it's a party area. So you have a lot of Europeans that come there. They go down to party. when you get there at Bocas Town, this is the main island for Bocas del Toro, and they have a set of bars and clubs. So I went out to a couple places to include the Central America well-known Salinas. I went to the club there. I went to a couple other clubs and bars and partied. Most of the music there, your traditional Latin flair, reggaeton. They had a lot of pop music there because, of course, they're accommodating a lot of Europeans, so that's what they listen to. Techno music, of course, which for all those who've been to Europe, from what I hear, that's a popular music genre there. And then also, of course, here in the States it is too, particularly in a lot of the major cities like, NY City and so forth and so forth. Food, traditional Panamanian food there. I felt when I was in Bocas del Toro, it was a little bit away from the Panamanian culture from what I experienced. It was really snooty, a lot of elitism from which was coming from the Europeans. They had that whole superiority complex thing going on, which was a turnoff for me because I'm on vacation. I don't feel like being around that nonsense. It's stupid because if they're superior, then they would stay in their own country since they're superior, right? Because their country would presumably be superior. Why would they want to go anywhere else? So I didn't like that, but everybody wasn't bad. It was cool because I got to see the locals that was there. They was telling me about life on the islands. They was telling me about how, that it can be really relaxing. Some of the people that come can be a bit of assholes. They told me, but a lot of people are pretty cool for the most part because everybody in the island not gonna be an asshole. A lot of people are looking to have fun. Maybe had that experience that this taboo in their country, and then also just looking to relax. Otherwise, Bocas del Toro is very beautiful. You're on a set of Bocas Town is one island. Then you have Bastimentos, which is another island. That's away from a lot of. You don't have as many Europeans there. It's mostly predominantly black people that migrate to that island. So it's mostly black people on the island. It's really beautiful. And I have a blog on that, a vlog on that on my channel, where a woman that was escorting me, her name was Fanukia, she was talking to me about the island and the history of the island and, what the people were all about, and as well as her friends that spoke on the video. It was a great time. I got to see additional side of Panamanian culture. I thought it was pretty cool. It was a great experience to see different people's perspectives. Talk to a number of the Europeans that came there. They told they're looking to have a good time. One thing that I got checked on was the fact they didn't normally in the States they might say, oh, you go into a place of a business and they say, oh, well, you can't have they don't accept cash, or they don't accept credit cards, rather they only accept cash. So I went to one place. I'm a vegan, so I went to this Lebanese place or Israeli restaurant. They have falafels, and so they didn't accept cash, and so I had to find a way to get an ATM. And I was a little, I was like, what's going on here? And that was that American side of me coming out, instead of adapting, I needed to, realize I'm in a different country, so that everything I be saying, like, well, why is there no signs? They're like, well, the Israeli guy told me, yeah, he was like, nah, they don't. He was like, he said, you're not from here. Like, yeah, I'm not. He's like, yeah. See, back in our countries, they would have signs like that, but it's different. So he would just check me on the fact that you got to understand when you're in another country, people do things differently. So for all those traveling, as a reminder, when you are traveling to other countries, everything is not going to be like your country. So you need to be aware of that, understand that, and adapt accordingly. And that helps make your trip more fun. So you want to do that. You want to, be understanding of the fact that everything is not going to be the way you think it's going to be or the way that you think it should be just because you're from America. Everything is not going to be the same as it is in America. So you got to be aware of that and be mindful of that. And, be mindful of the fact that you're a guest in the culture and the country and, again, adapt accordingly. But the falafel was good. I enjoyed it. The guy made it really well. I'm trying to think of the name of his restaurant. It's off the top of my head. If I remember, I'll write it in the comments section. So I wanted to check. I was in Bocas del Toro, but I wanted to check out this city. It's called Puerto Viejo. It's in Costa Rica. So I booked a trip So I had to book a trip to Puerto Viejo. So I booked a trip there, and I hopped on the boat from Bocas Town all the way to the mainland of Panama, and took a van ride about a few hours up north, I think it was like 2 or 3 hours, crossing over the border line into Costa Rica. I have a video for that also. When you look on my blog, the borders between Costa Rica and Panama, the title, you can see the bridge that I walked on. But we had to, once we got to the bridge, we had to physically walk over, show our passport to the military personnel, and from there we had to check in at the Costa Rican border, and then we called another van. Me and the people that I went with on the tour, on the van setup that I had to take me to Puerto Viejo. We caught the van over on the Costa Rican side, and then arrived in Puerto Viejo. And that was a good time. I'll talk about Puerto Viejo on another clip. But Panama, those are the main places I went in Panama. Panama City, Colon, San Blas, and Bocas del Toro. Panama is a really dope country. It's very modern, specifically Panama City. I mean, the skyscrapers, the buildings, they're very modern. Some parts of the city is developed, and of course the country, particularly near the border, I saw it was a little bit dirty over there. But it wasn't, and what I mean by dirty, I didn't need to explain this. I don't want to sound elitist myself, but it just was a lot of trash. It wasn't as developed, so it wasn't well kept. That's what I mean. And trash like cans, soda goods, like bottles, other miscellaneous just trash on the ground, all driving the whole way to the border town. And interestingly enough, once we crossed over the border town, past to the country from Panama, it was actually more cleaner. But yeah, I mean, Panama overall is a really, really cool country. One thing I will say about it is that the people are a hell of a lot more friendlier than some other countries. Very respectful. They on a hustle game there in Panama, so you got to be aware of that. People trying to make money out there, like any big city. I thought that I would definitely recommend going there. Great potential place to look further into for investment purposes, things of that nature. Although a lot of the prices have been going up. You have a lot of European investors in the country, so that's what's been causing the prices to go up. I think this is the president, 2 presidents ago, Marnelli, if I'm not mistaken, he put a lot of time into investing in the country and getting a lot of major companies to come there, which has caused a price inflation. And then also a lot of the neighborhoods have been going through their own form of gentrification process, just like here in the United States and a lot of major metropolitans. So places where like no-go zones, like Casco Viejo, for instance, they have been fixed up. A lot of that area that I mentioned earlier, Casco Viejo, used to be a gang territory. There's actually a tour for that on a website that I mentioned in previous blogs called viator.com. It is a tour where it goes over the history of gang activity there. Of course, it's been pushed out at this time, so it's much more safer there. There's a heavily police presence, so you'll be safe there at night. Of course, spring, don't leave your common sense at the airport. Don't walk down the dark alleys alone, stuff like that. But you'll be safe. You have a beautiful waterfront when you are in Casco Viejo, so if you're out on a date at night, that's a good place to take a girl to. It's really beautiful, and it's a sight to be seen. Some pro tips: when you go to Panama, you use Uber. Use Uber. It's super cheap. I can't stress that enough. It will make getting around so much easier and more cost efficient. I don't see the point of renting a car there. I really try not to even rent cars in foreign countries because that's just another liability. But use Uber without a shadow of doubt. I wouldn't go with the taxis. There's no need to. Also, make friends, talk to the locals. A lot of people in Panama City, the Spanish-speaking country, but a lot of people can speak English. It was a place that was inhabited by a lot of American presidents for almost over 100 years, or around 100 years. In 1999, the part of the country was basically run and owned by America near the site of the Panama Canal. And they gave America gave the Panama Canal back to Panama in 1999. There was actually an Air Force base there. So you'll have a lot of expats there, particularly from the States or from Europe, but particularly from the States, because a lot of the expats were prior military personnel in the U.S. military. And so that influx of American culture has caused a shift in the language that's spoken there. So you have a lot, particularly in the tourist areas like Casco Viejo, Amador Causeway, and then the malls and so forth, and the major hotels like Hilton and Hard Rock Cafe and the subsequent hotels, which, by the way, you'll have a lot of American hotels there. So if you for a starter country, if you've never been out of the country, Panama City is a good starter country to go to, because it'll be very familiar with the presence of the English language, the American hotels, and then also the American dollar. That's another thing. The American dollar goes a long way there. You don't have to exchange any money, just like in Puerto Rico. You don't have to exchange any money because they accept the American dollar. That's their numero uno form of currency in the country, the American dollar. Let's see. So no need to exchange your money there, because they use the American dollar. Use Uber, make friends, talk to the locals, because a lot of them speak English. Not all of them, though. I don't want to give misinformation. A lot of people in the city don't speak English. You have a lot of people, some people rather, that come from Venezuela or Colombia that's coming here for work, and they may, English is something they're learning, particularly if they work as a server or a waiter or in the hotels and so forth, but they don't know the language that well. So that's something to be mindful of. So make sure you have your Google Translator ready. And then also practice your Spanish as well. You're going to a foreign country, so you need to put some effort, just simple stuff. Hola, ¿cómo está? Someone asks you, ¿y tú muy bien? ¿De dónde eres? Tell them where you're from, USA, et cetera, et cetera. Just put an effort to, ¿cuál es tu plan hoy? What's your plans today? Try to put some effort into learning the language and speaking the language, because by doing that, it's like, oh, it's not another gringo who's elitist and thinks he's all that, but he's actually trying to, ingratiate himself into our culture, learn a little bit about us, and we can learn a little bit about him, and then we can become amigos, and then things go from there. And for you fellas, that can be really great, especially when you see all the beautiful women there. And by the way, the women there are beautiful, man. They're fine and friendly. Pretty easy pulling. I mean, just to say it. But of course, your mouthpiece got to be good. Just like the regular, like anywhere in the world, being confident, dressing sharp, being well groomed, and being confident. Once again, being confident. Can't stress that enough. And have fun. Because when you're having fun, people look at your aura is positive, you having fun, man, they're going to be like, oh, this guy's fun. I want to have fun too. And so things blossom from there. You build friendships, connections. You can find out about the best place to eat, the best place to dance, which, by the way, the salsa dance is very popular there. And then also other forms of Latin dance, merengue, bachata is popular there as well. And there's various clubs and bars to go to for that, to say the least. And not just in Casco Viejo, but all around the city. There's a place called, I think, Taladar nightclub I went to. That was in downtown Panama. That was a pretty dope spot. But yeah, really, really great time. Check those if you do decide to go to Panama City. Be mindful of those tips that I just brought up. Check out the places I mentioned to check out that I checked out, and you will have a blast, no doubt about it. All right, so that's my video for today. Panama City, my time there, what I did, how it was, the tips. Check it out. Peace.